Hello everyone, and welcome back to another task of physics for class 7, and the topic is measurement. And we'll be proceeding with what we have been learning so far. So we'll continue with the same chapter. So in the first we learned about measurement of area, then we learned about measurement of volume, and then we learned about different formulas related to area and formulas related to volume. So today we're discussing about the volume of liquids. Okay, so how do we calculate the volume of liquid? So when we discussed last time for the units of volume, so when we talked about the SI unit of volume, what was the SI unit of volume for solid? So SI unit of volume for solid is, I told you, it's cubic meter cube or cubic meter. Okay, but this you cannot use the same for liquids. So when we talk about liquids, when we are talking about liquids, we don't say it, we generally don't use the term cubic meter or cubic centimeter. Sometimes it's used, but we don't generally use it. Okay, so which term do we often use? We use the term liter. But before we talk about liter, let's talk about the volume of liquid. So what do you understand by the volume of a liquid? So as you know, any matter occupies space, which means it has a volume. Any matter has a volume. So liquid is also a matter. And what is this volume? So the volume of a liquid depends upon the shape of the container. So if you pour a liquid here in this chalk holder, so the space that it occupies, so how much capacity does it have to fill the liquid, will be the volume. Okay, so the container decides the volume of a liquid. So whatever the container is, suppose you pour the liquid here in this box, so the capacity of this box will be its volume. So when we talk about the volume of a liquid, we don't use the term cubic meter or cubic centimeter. What do we usually use the term? We use the volume of liquid is liter. Okay, it is liter, which you are very much aware. So when you want to purchase, if you're thirsty and you want to purchase juice, you can't say give me 3 cubic centimeter or 1 cubic centimeter juice, right? You say 1 liter or 1.5 liter or half liter, isn't it? So when you're regarding any liquid, you don't talk in terms of cubic meter or cubic centimeter. What do you use the term? You use the term liter. So liter is the unit of volume of liquid. Okay. And now if you have the confusion that how do we connect liter and cubic meter or liter, there is a relation between them. So 1 liter is equal to 1000 cubic centimeter and 1 liter equals to 0.01 cubic meter. So these are the relationship how to convert liter into cubic meter. Relationship between liter and cubic meter or cubic centimeter. Okay, and 1 milliliter equals to 1 cubic centimeter. So these are the relations which you need to remember if you ever have to convert liter into cubic centimeter, or if you have to convert cubic centimeter into liter. So these are the relationships that you need to remember. Okay, so this is how we can, these are the relationships, and it is 0.001. And so as I told you that the volume of the liquid depends upon the shape of the container. So there are different shapes. So if you buy 1 liter milk, so person who is selling the milk, the milkman, will be measuring it in a can of 1 liter, isn't it? You might have seen over there, if you purchase oil, if you are not taking the packed one and if you're taking it in a bottle, then they would pour it according to the measurement. Okay. And measuring volume correctly. Now, how do we measure the volume of a liquid? In lab would be, we have the measuring cylinder. Okay, we have the measuring cylinder which somewhat looks like this, and since I am not so good with drawing, please excuse my drawing, and I have been telling this a lot of time that I am not good with drawing. Anyway, so your measuring cylinder would somewhat look like this, and you have lines drawn here. Okay, and the lines would indicate the number. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and goes on. So if you say this is your 15, and say you have filled water till here or any other liquid here. Now, how do we measure? You don't see it from the top. Okay, you don't see it from the top. You need to see it from the side. Exactly. Okay, you don't see it from bottom also. You need to see it from the side to see the exact measurement. So if you see it from the top, or if you see it from the bottom, you might see a different reading. Okay, so you need to see it from the side. The correct reading must be taken by placing the eye at the proper level. That means, as I told you, you shouldn't be looking at this from the top and looking and then taking the reading, or you should be looking from here and then taking the reading. You have to be exactly at the par with this liquid. That means you have to look it from the side, right from the front. Okay. And this is very important when you're taking the measurements, especially when you're in lab and when you're doing some practicals. Another one is, how do we measure the volume of a solid of irregular shape? Okay, now, how do we measure the volume of a solid which has irregular shape? For example, for solids, for a regular shape, we do have some formulas. We discussed about cuboid, isn't it? We discussed about sphere, cone. So those are regular shapes. Okay, what if an object which doesn't have a regular shape? So how do we find the volume of such kind of objects which do not have regular shape, or which has an irregular shape? So obviously this is an irregular shape. Now you find a rock and you have to find the volume of this rock. Now look at the shape of this volume. Is it regular or irregular? It is irregular. Now how do you find the volume of this liquid in a lab? Okay. So what you have to do is, first you fill the measuring cylinder with water. Say, as I told you, the water, say till here it's 15. So what is it's 15. Okay, the volume of water is 15. Now in the same jar, in the same container, what you need to do is, you don't know the mass of this rock. So what you need to do is, you need to put it inside. Okay, now when you dip this rock inside, what will you see is the level of the water. Say it was here till here. Now the level of the water rises. Okay, the level of the water rises. It was here. See, this was still here. Now it has increased. The level of the water rises. So it increases to a certain height. So you measure this. Say now it has become 18. Okay, so what is the volume of the irregular rock or the irregular solid? You just have to subtract 18 minus 15. That means the volume of liquid, the two different volume of liquid. This was 15, initially it was 15 unit. Later when you dipped the rock inside the water, what happened? The level of the water increased. Okay, the surface of the water came up, okay, rises, and say and these are all imaginary numbers. Say it's 89. So what is the increase in the volume? 18 minus 15, that is your 3 unit. So this is the volume of the irregular object. So this is how we find the volume of an irregular solid using the concept of the volume of liquid, okay, in the lab. So this is how we can do it. And the next now we will be discussing today is very important, and that concept is your mass and weight. Okay, so I hope you understand how to calculate the volume of an irregular solid. You just need to find a measuring cylinder, and then you first pour some water, take the measurement of the water, then you dip the solid inside. When you dip the solid inside, the level of the water increases, and you check the new level. Okay, then you take the reading, then you subtract the final reading minus the initial reading, and whatever is the reading will give you the volume of the irregular object. Now next, mass and weight. So today we will briefly discuss about mass and weight. And before we discuss about weight, we discuss about mass. Okay, first we will talk about mass. Now what is mass? Let me hold these two different objects. So this feels lighter and this feels quite heavier. Not that heavy, but if I am comparing them, so this is lighter compared to this one. Okay, so if I compare this and this stick, now this is a solid wood, so this is lighter compared to this one. Okay, so what am I saying when I say lighter? When I'm saying, why does this feel heavier? Why does this feel lighter? Because the matter contained in this duster is lesser compared to the matter contained in this wood. Okay, that means the matter which is in this wood is more than the matter which is here in this duster. Same way, when I compare this to, this has less amount of matter contained. Okay, and this has more amount of matter contained. So which means when we define mass, so how do we define mass? Mass is the matter contained in an object. Okay. So whatever is the amount of matter contained in an object makes it heavier or lesser. So what does it refer? It refers to mass. So you must have experienced that, we'll not get into that. So what is mass? Mass is the measure of quantity of matter contained in a body. So what is mass? Mass is the amount of matter contained in a body. How much matter a body holds defines as mass. Okay, so how do you define mass? Mass is defined as matter contained in a body. The more amount of matter contained, more is mass. Lesser the amount of matter contained, lesser will be its mass. So if you compare this and this book, if you are comparing these two books, which one has more mass? This book has more mass compared to this one. So you can make out from the side itself that this book contains less amount of matter compared to this book. So mass is a constant quantity. Now what do you mean by constant quantity? It means it is fixed. Okay, the value of mass will be same wherever you go. Okay, say I've been carrying this book and I want to take this book to some other place. So I'm here in Pakyong and I carry this book. Say it's 200 grams, okay, and I take it to Gyantok, it will still be 200. I go to Siliguri, it still will be 200. I go to Delhi, I'm carrying this book along with me, still will be 200. I go to US, still will be 200. I go to Poles, still will be 200. If I go to Moon also and if I carry this book, the mass will be the same, that is 200 grams. That means mass remains fixed, it does not change. unless its velocity changes, but that's different. So mass remains same, it remains fixed. So if your mass is 30 kg here on the earth, you will have the same mass on the moon. Okay, so mass does not change despite the location. If you change the places, it remains fixed. So mass will be fixed. Okay, now another one is another factor for mass is measured by beam balance. Now you might have seen it in the shops, isn't it? The beam balance. Do you know those? What do you call it? You've seen it in those laws where the lady with the blindfold, which has completely shut her eyes with the fold. Okay, blindfolded lady. She holds a balance, isn't it? She holds a balance. So that is your beam balance. So you might have not seen, we don't see that a lot these days, but beam balance earlier was used in shops. Okay, you've seen those beam balance where the shopkeeper places weights in one scale and places the substances that you buy in another. So if you are buying potatoes, so he places it in one scale, and then on the other scale he uses the weight. So if you want to purchase 1 kg potatoes, he puts 1 kg weight. He puts 1 kg weight over here, and then he puts some potatoes till the balance becomes same, equal, then that would be 1 kg. So this kind of balance is called beam balance, which has been replaced by electronic digital balances these days, but some of the shops still uses them, and I'm sure you all have seen it, isn't it? It's called beam balance. Okay, and the SI unit of mass is kg. So the SI unit of mass is kg. And we discussed that mass does not change. So these are the facts of mass. Mass, as we discussed, mass is the matter contained in a body. Mass remains fixed, it does not change. Okay, then mass is measured by beam balance. The instrument used for measuring mass is your beam balance, and the SI unit of mass is kg. That means every time you measure mass, it is measured in kg or grams, okay, or milligrams, but the SI unit would be kg. So these are the facts for mass, and we'll discuss about weight in the next class. Okay. So today we discussed about mass. In the next class we'll discuss about weight. Then we'll compare them, mass, the differences between mass and weight. Till then, have a good day and good time. And if you have any doubts regarding the chapter, please do feel free to ask questions. And as for your question and answers, I'm gonna give it to your respective class teachers. So if you have any further queries, you can contact me directly. Thank you.